Okay, so I have some bad news and I have some good news. The good news is definitely going to outweigh the bad news, and the good news is going to give you a good opportunity to get to the next level financially. The bad news is this: most famous people are not wealthy. It's true. The good news is most wealthy people are not famous. So guess what? That means you have the power, the opportunity, and the ability to create wealth. You see, if you operate by the laws of mathematics, this is what's so good about money, because money is not fickle. Money isn't going to make a decision and decide to be different. Money is not going to go away and then come back. Money is much more predictable than emotions. You can't tell if somebody's happy or sad or when they're going to be happy or sad. You cannot measure emotions. You can't say how much joy someone has, how much peace someone has. You can't measure any of that, and it's all subjective. But money is measurable. 1 + 1 = 2. And if your stuff adds up to 10, it'll never ever get into 2. So the first step that you have to take if you want to get your money to the next level, if you want to control money instead of having money control you, if you want money to work harder for you than you can ever work for it, then you have got to abide by the laws of mathematics. You see, mathematics was here way before we were. Mathematics is what created the pyramids. Mathematics is the reason why stability exists and why science is able to put us in a place where we can predict where we're going from where we are. So if you only have $10, you cannot spend 20. If you only have $100, you cannot spend 200. If you're living check to Monday, you know what that is? That means you get paid on Friday, and by Monday you are broke, right? You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday you're broke. But check to Monday is an entirely different game. If you are living check to Monday, that's because we're spending more money than we have available. I used to do that. It didn't matter how much money I had. I always found a way to spend more than I had available for me. And I just thought, well, I'll just go work and make some more money. Well, let me tell you something. That didn't work, because the law of diminishing returns came into effect. And sooner or later, I couldn't work hard enough to keep up with the money that I was spending too fast. And there it was. It all disappeared. And I was back at square one. So you can make this happen for yourself. Here's the first thing that you need to do. You need to disconnect from dollar signs. What do I mean by that? That means relinquish the feeling that you think money is going to give you in your life. Relinquish those feelings. Relinquish, oh, money is going to make me happy. Money is going to make me successful. Money is going to make me more desirable to him or to her or to my children, to my family. Relinquish all of that. Get disconnected from dollars, because when you detach from dollars and what you think they can do for you, then you become attached to the truth. You become attached to what is real. You become attached to being a good person. You become attached to getting yourself right. You become attached to getting an education. And it's only when you internally correct that money is then going to attach itself to you. So you want to disconnect. Let me tell you what I mean. Remember the last time you tried to date somebody and you were going after them and trying to just get them and everything, and they weren't paying you any attention? As soon as you backed off a little bit, now they came calling. Oh, where are you? What happened to you? That's how money is. As long as you go grabbing for it, as long as you are anxious about it, as long as you are depressed about it, as long as you are just in a I want to give up mode about it, then money is like, you know what? It's not going to work out. But if you get detached, and you start focusing on starting your home-based business, if you start focusing on getting your money straight, if you start focusing on improving your life, improving the people around you, removing yourself from toxic people, the more you start to focus on things that are not directly connected to money, then money is going to follow you and want to be attached to you. So you have to disconnect from dollar signs. You have to disconnect from the things that you think those dollar signs are going to buy you. Let me give you an example. The last time I filed bankruptcy, yes, because I did so twice. I filed a Chapter 13. I filed a Chapter 7. When I filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, that means you get rid of all debt. Now, I know a lot of people who file a Chapter 7 and they keep some of the things. They keep the car. They keep certain things that they just don't want to get rid of. When I got rid of my debt, I got rid of all debt. And I got rid of my beautiful pearl white Lexus that I absolutely love. But guess what? I love being debt-free more. I love having power more. I loved having control more. And let me tell you something. I did not have an attachment to that car. See, material illness is what you have when a material thing's presence gives you pleasure and its absence gives you pain. Let me repeat. A material illness is what you have when a material thing's presence gives you pleasure and its absence gives you pain. I read that in Russell Simmons' book, Super Rich. So having the Lexus definitely gave me pleasure. I like driving my Lexus. It was a great car. It looked good. I look good in it. Let me tell you something. I love my Lexus. But let me tell you something. When I got rid of it, I didn't feel any different about myself. I didn't feel any different about when I had to drive to meetings. And the car that I had to get in, it was two of them. There was a rusty old Toyota. I had to get in the passenger side to get to the driver's side. Okay. And then I had an old beat up BMW with no power, anything. I had to roll the windows and then the windows wouldn't roll. And then it was 92 degrees outside and it was a terrible mess. But let me tell you what I had. I had a plan. I had a vision. I had power. I had energy. I had faith. I had hope. I had determination. I had everything that it took to keep going. So first you must disconnect from dollar signs. Disconnect from the things that you think money can buy and watch how money becomes attractive to you. The next thing that you have to do is you have to disconnect from people. You have to disconnect from people. Let me tell you something. If you're broke, if you're living check to Monday, if you're trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B with your paycheck, if you're living from check to 2 o'clock, yeah, that means you get paid on Friday morning and by Friday afternoon, you're gone. All the money is gone. If you are in that situation, then I bet you 9 times out of 10, 9.99999 times out of 10, that there is a person attached to those expenses that you have that you shouldn't have. There's a child that you are feeling guilty about. You want to give your children more than you had, but you should want to give them financial freedom. You should want to give them good financial habits. That's what we want to give our children. Our children already have too much stuff. Let me tell you something. They have iPhones. I had a rotary dial and I would sneak and talk on the phone at night. And my grandmother would pick up the phone and say, get off the phone. And I'd be embarrassed because I'd be trying to talk to a little boyfriend or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Our children already have everything. We need to give them the stuff that we have that they don't have. We need to give them tenacity. We need to give them staying power. We need to give them survival skills. I used to get on the bus when I was 9. You understand? So what we need to start thinking about is all those people who are attached to the things that our money is buying and how we think it makes them feel, but more importantly, how it makes us feel. You see, when I was spending more money than I had available, when I was paying people's mortgages and sending all the kids on the trips with us, and we were flying all over the country, and if other kids didn't have money that I paid for, that made me feel good. That gave me an ego boost. Yes, they were happy, but I was happier. Be honest with yourself. You got to be really honest with yourself. Everybody who's talking about, I love to give, you're giving to yourself too. You're giving yourself the dopamine effect of being a giver. And what I need you to understand is when your giving becomes detached directly from money, especially money that you don't have, then you can truly become a giver. Because all giving isn't helping. Sometimes if you're giving, you're enabling. Enabling is not a good thing. You see, in a helping situation, everybody improves, everybody gets better. But in an enabling situation, you are probably making somebody worse because you keep helping them, giving them money that you don't have, that they don't need, and what they really need is a lesson. So we have to teach ourselves, we have to teach the people around us, we have to disconnect from the dollar signs, we have to disconnect from the people. Why? Because money will work harder for you than you can ever work for it. When you start to put things in perspective, money says, if you put me in a bank account, or if you put me in a savings account, or if you put me in a mutual fund, or if you put me in a 401k, or if you put me in some other kind of investment, then not only am I going to bring back more of my friends, then I'm going to multiply. And when I multiply, let's say you put $1 million in the bank, and that $1 million earns interest at 10%. That $1 million earns $100,000. Now the $1 million just sits there. Now you can live off the $100,000. And guess what? The $1 million now becomes 1,100,000. Then it becomes 1,200,000. It can keep growing. You can keep living off less. And the money can keep working harder for you than you can ever work for it. And then the money gives you a check. You working for a check. The money says, I want to pay you. Money wants to pay you. We're working for it, but it really wants to pay you. But it cannot operate, it cannot function if we do not follow the rules. So what do you need to do? You have to get in the game. You have to get off the sidelines and get in the game. Education is one step, but knowledge is not power until it is put into action. Let me repeat, knowledge is not power until it is put into action. You must do something. You must get a financial education. You must take a class. You must learn how to buy stocks and bonds. You must learn how to start a home-based business. You must learn how to be an entrepreneur. You must learn how to write your next book. You must learn how to invest in real estate. You must learn how to do these things. And guess what? This is not money that you're spending. You see, money that you're spending is just gone. But when you invest in yourself, you're going to get a return. So I want you to think about what your next money move is. The biggest money move that you can make of a lifetime is starting your own business. Everybody needs a home-based business. It's one of the quickest ways and one of the most surefire ways to ensure that you will get on that path to the financial future that you see for yourself. Okay, so I had some good news. I had some bad news. The bad news is most famous people are not wealthy. The good news is most wealthy people are not famous. So guess what? That means you have a chance. You have a chance. You have an opportunity. And let me tell you, it's not just a chance, make it a plan. So I want you to go to lynnrichardson.com and I plan to see you there and we're going to get to the next level together. All right now.